Greetings. Thanks for joining us today on Polk Salad.
We've started the season and had two great shows.
Great idea. That's smart.
And we've just settled in quite nicely.
It's August. Can you believe it? Summer's nearly over. We have a terrific show today. 3 guests with some super information. Rotary, Lions, and the Smith Fine Arts. You're going to enjoy it. Stay tuned. We're here with Danny Jaffer. Welcome, Danny.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the invite.
I'm glad to see you here.
Glad to be here.
I know with your outfit on, we'll be talking about Lions Club.
Yes.
And specifically, what's coming up this month?
So on the 17th, that'll be Saturday after next, we have our annual Lions Club Cruise-In car show down at Riverview Park in Independence.
Great.
We have folks showing up to get their cars in before 8 o'clock in the morning. We open the gates then, and then starting at 9, the show is open, and we go till 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh,
down
good.
there.
Oh, good. So how many years have you been doing this?
Well, I've been involved with it since we started it in 2012. This is probably my 3rd or 4th year as the chairman of the event. So I've been, I've always enjoyed being around nice cars, and this is an opportunity to do that and also do something nice for the community.
Good. Do you have a nice car that you get to fiddle with?
Well,
You would
I have
like
cars
to.
that I fiddle with. I don't know if they're necessarily nice, but I have my red Jeep that I like to get around town
Oh,
in, so.
fun. Top down?
Top down, yeah.
All right. That's the way to go. So you started out with how many cars 7 years ago?
So our very first show, we had 87 cars show up,
okay.
and that was after a lot of hard work. We got some help from from a different car club, or from a car club that was the Cascade Pacific Plymouth Club out of Portland, and they helped us put together the car show initially and said, well, you have to go out and you have to go to other car shows and pass out your flyers and let people know who you are. So we got 87 cars that first year, and we thought that was pretty good for a first time out. Well, last year we had 150 cars plus.
Whoa.
We were nearly running out of parking room, but it's really a nice location at Riverview Park because we're towards the end of the summer. A lot of things that are going to go on have already happened, and so the city allows us to park the cars on the grass, which most folks who go to car shows really appreciate, particularly in August because it's so much cooler than being on pavement.
Yeah. You have prizes and all sorts of things, or
Right. Well, we have, first off, we have for the drivers bring their cars in. We have 27 different categories in which they could win a trophy. Anything from best time frame, we have 1920 to 1930 on up through present day. We have best Chevy, best Ford, best engine, best paint, best of show, several different categories that make it a lot of fun. And it also opens it up so that a lot of different folks can participate and possibly win a trophy in our show.
Does the car have to be drivable?
Yeah.
You have to get it
you have
there.
to. I
You have to
suppose
drive
if you
it on,
really
I would
wanted
think.
to push it into the parking spot, we'd let you, but it'd have to be late in the show because when we first start parking cars, it's kind of a madhouse for about an hour.
Sure.
But we get them all in there. We have some great folks that have been participating since the beginning, folks like Mark Powell, Debbie Bach, and some others who have really just always been involved and helping us get this show going, and they're fellow Lions members.
Yeah, I give them a shout out for sure.
They have done a remarkable job. There are many others, and I could spend a lot of time listing them, but I won't do that now. But they get to know that I really appreciate their help. Cal, Jack, Dory.
That's good. So you also, Lions, also have other fundraisers?
Right. So the reason we do the car show, let me tell you first, is that we decided to do it as a fundraiser for the Central Lions Club, and also to be kind of a something for the community as well. It's a pretty good fundraiser for us, but it's not. it's not a huge fundraiser in the way that some others are, but what it does is it provides something, just about the last large event in the park for either Monmouth or Independence before school starts.
Okay.
So we have that. That's just a nice thing. There are a couple of farmers markets going on at the same time that just give it a real kind of a fair type atmosphere. And so it's a fundraiser for us, but then we also do poinsettia sales starting in October so that folks can get their poinsettias. We deliver them right after Thanksgiving, and then they have their poinsettias through the Christmas holidays and into New Year, and quite often they last a lot longer than that.
Yeah, they do.
But we also do a crab feed in April, and that's a newer fundraiser for us, but that's worked out really well. We've had 2 of those, and next April we'll have our 3rd annual crab feed. People really enjoy that. It's all you can eat crab, and the last 2 years we've kept the price at $40 a head. And there's other things besides crab to eat.
Sure.
But that's been a very good fundraiser for us, too.
Good.
So those are the 3 big ones, and then we do a lot of other things throughout the year. Some that raise money, some is just as community service. We've worked with the Watershed Council, planting trees and things like that. But we provide scholarships in the community to high school students. We provide vision screening for all of the grade school kids, and in fact, Oregon is the leader. Oregon Lions are the leader in screening grade school kids for vision nationwide.
Good.
And
yeah, that's what I know Lions for, is the vision.
Right.
But you have other things.
Right. Vision and hearing are the 2 main ones. Those are our main activities, or our main projects that we have that we support, but we also do environmental and concerns, and which is why we work with the Watershed Council, and diabetes awareness. That's another one that's big for us. So,
good.
And it's a large service organization. We actually have for our Lions Club, we have just over 50 members. Monmouth-Independence and some surrounding area.
Good.
But Oregon Lions, I can't remember off the top of my head, but tens of thousands, and
in every country, or so many
over
countries?
190 countries. We
That's
have
crazy.
Lions Clubs. It's the largest service organization in the world.
Okay.
About 1.5 million members worldwide, doing all sorts of charitable work. Disaster relief, that's one I failed to mention. We do,
I
we
bet.
help support other Lions clubs in their work in disaster relief, particularly in some of the areas where you're more prone to natural disasters. We've been very fortunate here, of course. But
Seems to me I've seen the Lions vests at football games at Western.
yes, you have.
Yeah, so it's great exposure.
Well, thank you.
That's good.
We do that, again, public service, but the athletic department sends a little money our way to help us with our projects.
So you're getting good exposure. You're also getting a little fundraising to go towards these very
we
good
do the
events.
ticket taking at the stadium, and that, like you said, it's good exposure for us as well.
That's super. How long have you been a Lion?
I've been a Lion now for 10 years, almost 10 years.
And your dad and
my
mom?
dad has been, my folks have been Lions for many, many years. My mom, over 30 years. Oh, that's a great picture of me a couple of years ago.
Now I recognize you.
But my dad has been a Lion for approaching 50 years.
Oh, okay. But
That's we have
terrific.
a couple other members in our Lions Club that have been around even longer than that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great organization. You do wonderful things. You've been here. You were born here. Mm-hmm.
Raised here.
Raised here.
Yeah, my dad was a professor here at what was then Oregon College of
chemistry?
Education.
Chemistry, okay. And I know your mom ran the Elacuran Food Bank.
Right, for approaching 30 years.
Yeah. That's where I got to meet her. So you have a long history, and your family has a long history here, but you haven't been here forever. You also went away for a time.
Right. I was in the Navy for, I did 20 years active duty time and about 5 years as a reservist. That was actually with the Air Force Reserve.
Okay. And to many exotic places.
Right. Well, being an aviator, that gave me opportunity to get to a lot of places. And but one of the, we're fortunate to be stationed on the island of Guam for a few years.
Really?
Yeah, that's actually where I deployed from there. With my squadron for Desert Shield and Desert Storm.
Oh.
But we really enjoyed Guam. It's a nice little tropical island.
It is.
And the kids were little, so that was a lot of fun. But then later on, we were in mainland Japan and then in Okinawa. Aside from that, I ended up in the Middle East for a period of time. I was over in Italy for a little while.
Oh boy, you really have been.
Yeah. And it was a great experience.
Good.
I wouldn't trade it. And kind of, gives you that worldly view, and the kids had a great time, and my wife had a great time. So.
And then you came back home.
Right.
What drew you home?
Well, I got to see a lot of great places. I mean, it's hard not to find beauty just about anywhere you go in the world. And but you're raised here in the Willamette Valley of Oregon, or just in Oregon in general, and. The views are spectacular. The people are gracious, and also, it was home. But I think, at the end of the day, it's where can you find a place to live and thrive, and
Right.
this is it for us.
Right,
So.
right. I find this a wonderful area, and every time I do the show and interview somebody, I find one more thing to really love about our community.
Right.
So
yeah, and you can get, if you're here in the Mid-Willamette Valley, you can get to a lot of places that are very worthwhile.
That's right.
To see and things to do. So
Yeah.
and it's, I have to admit, having grown up here, it's a bit more exciting now than it used to be.
now good. I'm so glad.
I don't know if that means that I've slowed down or the Monmouth and Independence have gotten a little more exciting.
It
but,
may have.
Yeah.
It may be a bit of both.
There have been some folks who've done some great things to just improve both communities. So.
Well, I'm so glad to have you on the show and have learned a little bit more about you and Lions Club and the car show coming up.
Yes. So 17th of August down at Riverview Park in Independence.
Can't wait.
It's free admission for anybody who wants to come look at cars. We also do a pancake breakfast. That starts at about 8:30 in the morning. $5, pancake, eggs, sausage, coffee. We do that primarily as a service for the drivers who are driving in because they get that with their entrance fee. It's $20 for someone who wants to display a car.
Okay.
And those, like I said, those monies go to all of the charitable things that we do. But there is pancake breakfast if you're interested. And we go till 3 o'clock and a lot of good viewing down there.
That'll be great. That'll be fun. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
We'll be right
Thank
back. And we have Lisa Schachter with us. Am I saying it
Yes, you
correctly?
are.
Of course. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you.
You're with the Smith Fine Arts, and you've been here since October.
Yes.
So you're almost a year in. You're a pro at this, though.
I don't know about that.
You've been doing things like this with other organizations
Yes.
in Seattle area.
That's right. I was, for about 15 years up there, was involved with a couple of, actually quite a few different arts organizations. Seattle Repertory Theater, the Seattle Chamber Music Society.
Oh, you
King
have
FM
been.
Radio. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. Well, I think you got thrown in the deep end here because the Smith Fine Arts is a fabulous project, but it's a lot of work, isn't it?
It is.
Tell us about the event that just passed a couple of weeks ago, so that the dinner and auction.
Yes.
Before we get going on the series.
Yes, certainly.
Tell us what was different this year. You had a sit-down dinner.
We did. We decided to shake it up a little bit, do
Yeah,
a couple
that's
new
new.
things to see how that worked.
New broom sweeps clean.
That's right. So I think it went over pretty well. We had folks were served dinner at table as well as wine and beer, so that they were able to sit with their guests and focus on
Good.
the auction. And I think that was pretty well received.
Yeah. Have you made the total? Was it what you had hoped?
We are getting very close to having a total, and we're very happy with it. And that will be
It takes
announced
a
soon.
while
Yes,
to get that.
It does.
Doesn't it?
It
Yeah,
does.
Yeah. So the series had already been set when you came on board.
That's right.
You were just getting into the first concert, and so now you've been a part of deciding what's going to be coming up this year.
Yes.
So would you like to tell us about it? I think part of the deal was you went for the most impossible to pronounce musical acts. So let's begin. Our first concert is when?
Our first concert is coming up on October 11th, and we have coming into town Sam Ryder and the Human Hands. Sam Ryder is fantastic multi-instrumentalist, which a lot of our musicians are. A lot of the artists who come in have many talents, and he's no exception.
Good.
Sam is a jazz piano player, but he also will be putting on the accordion for this show and bringing along a host of musicians with him from Brooklyn.
I can imagine it's not the Lawrence Welk accordion.
You're right on. But it's going to get pretty wild, probably a little bit more wild than Lawrence Welk would be.
Yeah.
They play an really interesting combination of bluegrass, klezmer, and sort of hot jazz all mixed up.
What fun.
Yes,
That's
very,
gonna be a great one.
very high energy, and just the level of musicianship is amazing.
Good.
It's kind of interesting because
Good.
one of the musicians who's coming is, his name is Alex Hargraves, and he is actually the son of one of the professors at Western University.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
So
that's fun.
Yeah,
That's fun.
and so Alex has been is really a virtuosic violinist, fiddle player.
Was he here last year?
He was. He was
Okay.
here with
He
the
was
Jacob Jolliffe Band.
fabulous.
Yes.
That's right.
So
Okay.
he'll be coming back.
Good.
And Sam's also bringing along a special guest. His name is Jorge Glem, and he is from Venezuela and is a master on the cuatro, which is
Okay.
it's a Latin American instrument, it's derived from the Spanish guitar. So it's like a small guitar, and he'll be playing along as well and putting some really interesting twists on folk music of South America.
I love how everything is very diverse, and it's getting an exposure we would not normally get. So on December 7th, we have another very interesting concert.
Right. December 7th, we are bringing Kiran Ahluwalia. Kiran is of Indian descent, raised in Canada, and now living in New York. She sings in Punjab and other Indian dialects. So her music will be not necessarily something you'll understand if you're an English-speaking person, but the emotion and the melody that goes into her expression is really universal.
Oh, good. Oh,
So-
good. I look forward to that.
Yes, and her
That'll be
voice
nice.
it just transports you to another place.
Oh, good.
And the music is sort of a new take on old traditional tunes, love songs.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Well, that sounds very interesting. I like that. In January. Okay.
Right.
January 17th.
Yes, we are kicking off 2020 with a big group of exciting musicians from East Los Angeles. And this group is Las Cafeteras, which means Heart of the Andes. Las Cafeteras will be here to sing African beats,
And
South American,
Afro-Mexican. That's
Right.
That sounded very interesting. I don't think I've ever heard that kind of a combination.
Right.
So
And
it should be cool.
It's going to be great, and they are they're used to working with youth and children of all ages, and so we'll be doing some outreach in our community
Good.
with that group as well. They play music on traditional Mexican instruments. They do spoken word. They're just doing a little bit of everything. So
Yeah.
we're really excited to be bringing them. And they are someone that it's good to be able to catch here in Rice Auditorium because they actually just played the Hollywood Bowl last weekend.
So I'm sure that was terrific.
It was, and
Good.
and part of what we're trying to hear is to try and sort of identify these bands who are up
On
and
the
coming
rise,
and on the
yeah.
rise, and they'll be right here in Monmouth in January. So
Earlier you touched on getting the presentations before the actual concert to students.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that before we
Yes.
go any further. What happens?
I'm glad you asked me because that's a big part of our mission
It
at
is.
Smith Fine Arts Series, and that is to reach out not just to the students on campus who they have the opportunity to go to all of these shows for free. But beyond that, we do have outreach opportunities for students in the community, whether they're other university students, they're middle school, elementary school students. We try and have opportunities for those students to get up close and have these experiences with these incredible musicians.
It is a life-changing thing for
Yes.
some. My daughter played flute. We lived across the state from Madison, Wisconsin, and James Galway was giving a master's class, and we went across the state to hear him, and it was fabulous.
And that's exactly the thing I'm talking
so
about, right?
That's going to be life-changing for many. So fabulous. I'm glad they do that.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And so Las Cafeteras will be a big part of that outreach for this year. They're pretty much our centerpiece for this coming season.
Okay,
for
we'll
outreach.
be promoting that for sure. March 14th, St. Patty's Day.
Just in
Whoa,
time.
Tell us about it.
Just in
Yeah.
time. Speaking
Come
of
and go.
Irish
Yes.
flute, Seamus Egan Project is coming to town on March the 14th. This is very, very exciting. Seamus Egan is the creator of the band Solus from the 90s, very popular Irish-American band. He has a way of taking traditional Irish music and kind of turning it on its head and making it something new and different.
Good.
He will be here with some of his friends that he's met along the way who are playing a host of instruments, guitar,
Tin
whistle.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's interesting.
tin
Fiddle, of
whistle,
course.
fiddle. Just anyone who knows Irish music knows Seamus Egan, and we are so incredibly excited to have him coming with his
He's written
group.
for a few movies.
He
too,
has.
hasn't
He wrote the score for The Brothers Macmillan, which is an
Yeah.
award-winning film, and I think that's something he's still doing is composing as
Good.
well. So he's
Good.
got his hands in quite a
That'll
few
be
things.
fun.
Right.
I enjoy that very much. Okay, now April.
Yes. With April comes another group coming from the European
Sweden.
side, from Sweden. They are Vesson. And Vesson is a group of 3 gentlemen who have been together almost 3 decades playing fiddle, playing an instrument that is very unique.
Nyckelharpa? Is that
The nyckelharpa.
Yeah,
Yes.
tell me-
That's an ancient Swedish instrument. It's been, it's a cousin to the hurdy-gurdy.
Oh.
And so those have been played for about 400 years. And we have the nyckelharpa coming, along with a viola and a guitar. So these 3 gentlemen also like to tell stories about their tunes, and I think
Okay.
you're going to find them very, very entertaining and very engaging. So that's
Good,
Vesson.
good. That will be interesting. So we get involved in the cultural thing, the age thing. So they have been playing together for 30 years. That means they're not just starting out. So
Right.
I'm glad about that. But you also have one of the artists grew up in a deaf home and speaks sign language.
Yes.
So do you remember which one that is?
So
That's
that
gonna be
is
interesting.
Las Cafeteras again. It's
Oh,
just going to
okay.
be on so many levels. It's going to be
Okay,
just a
that's-
great experience to have them here.
Yeah.
Hector, who's in the band, yes, did grow up in a deaf home, and part of what he really likes to incorporate into their performance is sign language and signing.
So we'll see some ASL. So we'll have, it's terrific. I'm just enjoying this. We're going to finish this one off in June on the 6th.
Right.
And tell us about that one.
And so we're wrapping up in a big way, folks. This is the Thornetta Davis Band. Thornetta Davis is a woman with an incredibly powerful, smooth, but very powerful voice. I've been listening to her all weekend on Spotify. It was kind of hard to turn her off.
Oh, wow.
But she will be here along with a 7-piece band. So it's going to be a big show. Horns, the whole bit. A lot of power, a lot of sound. She is a fantastic songwriter, her lyrics are very deep. She actually wrote the song Cry that's used in The Sopranos.
Okay.
So her music is something that's very special, and I think that folks are really going to appreciate that we're wrapping things up with Thornetta.
You know, I think folks are going to really appreciate the series. For all these years, 43 is it? Mm-hmm. So this is the 43rd year of the Smith Fine Arts series, And I think it's probably the most diverse of any of them that I've been aware of. Also, such talent. We're going to have some terrific talent. I'm looking forward to every single one. It's going to be great.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And just a big shout out I want to make
Please.
to Dirk Frameth, who's our sort of our booking guy, our guru, our one
Yes.
who's going out and making those connections in the community with these agents and these acts. And of course to the Smith Fine Arts Series Board for all their help on putting things together.
Good, and that goes without saying. And you couldn't do this alone, that's
Right.
for sure. Well, thanks, Lisa.
Thank you.
I look forward to the concert.
I can't wait to see you there.
Okay, we'll be right back. We're here with Laurel Sharmer, our city councilor and president of the local Rotary. Welcome, Laurel.
Thank you, Susan. It's good to be here.
I'm so glad you're here. This summer, you got to, as president, sit in the front car at the parade.
Yes,
At the
yes.
4th of July parade. And you did something a little unusual. What was it?
This year, I invited our two foreign exchange students to ride in the car with me. On the left here is Jonathan Stanke, a Central student who had just returned the day before from a year in Thailand. And on the right is Jean-Nicolas de Wouters, who was a foreign exchange student who came from Belgium to study at Central High for a year. And both of those youngsters are holding up the flags of those two countries. So that's a large part of what Rotary does, is promote peace through the youth exchange program. And what we could really use is host families, who are willing to take in a bright young student from a foreign country and who can live with them for 3 months. And Bob Archer, Dr. Bob Archer is our chair of the youth exchange program. And he is one of the veterinarians at the Ash Creek Animal Hospital in Independence. So anybody who thinks they'd like to be a host family can just contact Bob, and he'll be happy to sit down with you and work with you on that.
I can say from experience, when we lived in Wisconsin, we had students from Finland, Japan, and Brazil. It was a terrific experience, and I highly recommend it. Our daughter was also able to go over to Italy for an exchange program, so terrific again. But we do other things. Rotary does.
Yes, Rotary does two basic things. One is service projects. The other is fundraising to support those service projects. And we every year at the end of the school year at Central High School, we have an awards dessert where the students who are outstanding in lots of different areas of study at the high school are given awards. And you can see we've got cakes there. And this year we had the assistant district governor for Rotary there to help with that. And by the way, that's Bob Archer there.
Okay.
So you know what he looks like. He's looking for host families.
Okay. And there is a high school Rotary group,
Yes,
right?
it's called Interact, and those youngsters are so full of enthusiasm and goodwill and interest in promoting peace, and they just managed to install a peace pole in front of the high school that says "Let peace reign on earth" in 4 or 5 different languages.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I know Patty Nephew's been on the show before, and she's runs that
Yes,
group.
she's the chair of the Interact group.
Yeah, and we had them at Making Spirits Bright.
Yes.
They were so helpful. Lots of fun.
Yes, and you'll see us there again this year because we
good.
applied for a grant to support that.
Oh, good. Excellent.
Yes.
So now you do wonderful things. You've got some great exposure. What is your primary purpose? Is it world peace?
It's
Is
well,
it-
Rotary International.
Eradicating polio.
Yes, yes. And we do so much of our work quietly without asking for a lot of notoriety, not notoriety, but a lot of recognition for what we do. And I was listening to a TED Talk once where the speaker was talking about polio. And he said, and so the World Health Organization, along with a couple of service clubs, has done a remarkable job in eradicating polio. He didn't even know who we were. So we need to do a better job of promoting Rotary. And I thank you for letting us have the opportunity to do that.
Well, it's a great organization. Why not?
Yes.
Why not? So the other things that you do, there's a lot of getting out in the community. You do some wonderful things, so people should know what Rotary is.
We're thrilled that we just got a grant to provide some improvements to the Inspiration Garden at Mountain Fir Park in Independence, and we're hopefully supporting all of that with a fundraiser coming up on the first day of fall, September 21st.
Oh, okay.
It'll be a harvest festival and at the Village Green in Edwards Addition. And for $15, people can bring their apples and take advantage of our apple press, the cider press that will be there.
Awesome.
They'll get 10% off of the food carts that are there, and they can be eligible for a home and garden tour to go around Edwards Addition and look at people's gardens and maybe visit some of the homes. Then there will be, as part of the Harvest Festival, there will be a beer making 101 class where rank beginners can learn how to make really good beer.
Good.
And there will be a bocce ball tournament.
Good.
So September 21st, remember that. Get your partner for bocce ball and come on over and use the new bocce ball court there.
That's fun.
Yes.
We live right behind it.
Yes.
So we have been over there a couple of times.
So pardon us if we're a little noisy on September 21st.
It's to be expected.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. You have other fundraisers.
Yes, we do. In January, we're going to be hosting a talent show. Mon-Indy's Got Talent. So
is this new?
This is new.
Oh,
this is part of
fun.
my presidential year.
Okay.
So if you can sing or dance or juggle or ride a unicycle, be prepared because we're going to be putting that on. There will be auditions on one Saturday and then the final show, the competition, the next Saturday. We'll have celebrity judges. Ben Stange, our fire chief, will be one of the celebrity judges, and Lane Shetterly
good.
from the Dallas Club will also be a celebrity judge. And Jeff Witt has agreed to be our master of ceremonies.
Okay.
So start practicing.
Okay. Oh, that's terrific.
And then
where's it going to be?
At Central High School, at the Performing
that
Arts
makes
Center.
sense.
And then in the spring, we'll have a wild game feed, maybe to complement the crab feed that the Lions will have. So we're out there looking for somebody who's a good hunter, a good shot, already has a freezer full of elk or deer who'd like to donate some of that meat to
all sorts of peculiar things.
Yeah.
So do you have? Do you plan to have the fruitcake or the rum cake sale again?
Yes, we also,
I was hoping so.
Yes, we also sell rum cakes, Barbara Story's rum cakes, and those are just delicious.
They certainly are.
And then we sell lilies during the spring for people to have for the spring holiday meal on their table. And then we also sell strawberries. Strawberries are the big deal.
This year, Debbie Thurman shared hers with me. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was delicious.
Yes.
They were so sweet.
We had one 30-pound bucket left over, so I used it to make a pint of strawberry jam for every Rotary member.
Oh, wow. Now, okay, that brings me to you. You are a very goal-oriented woman, and I know that you're a fabulous gardener. Tell us something that you grow in the garden that is ripe right now.
Well, berries. I've got a lot of berries, a lot of figs. And I just yesterday finished canning 21 pints of sauerkraut. I made the mistake of buying a little 6-pack of cabbage, and it turns out there were like 4 or 5 cabbages in each little cell. So I planted them all and wound up with at least 50 pounds of cabbage.
Do you like sauerkraut? You're going to
I
learn. So not only gardening, and that'll get you through the winter, it sounds like.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, easily. But you built your home.
Yes.
No, you didn't have it built. You were plumbing, electrical.
Yes,
oh, yeah,
I had it framed in because I can't lift big 4x12 headers and that sort of thing, or put on shingles on the roof. But when I moved in, it was just studs.
So if I were to use one word to describe you, tenacious. Maybe another one is determined.
I don't know.
When and you've also told me that you come from a family who's service-oriented.
Yes, yes.
So your grandfather?
My grandfather was the first mayor of Sidney, Nebraska. My father was a Merced County supervisor, and now I'm a Monmouth city councilor. So I've been telling my sons and my nephews, come on guys, get out there, got to run for office, got to keep it going.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's terrific. I'm so glad to know you just a little bit better.
Oh, well, thank you.
And all these wonderful things that you're doing with Rotary. It's a terrific year.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Yes, it's going to be a great year.
It's going to be super. Did we touch upon the new project? I'm not sure if we did, that you'll be doing for the international students on the Western campus?
Oh, yes. Two people, Pam Sarah Wentz, who is a resident of Monmouth, and Rob Troyer, who is deals with international students on campus, have come together to decide that international students probably don't celebrate Thanksgiving, but everybody else on campus goes away during that time, and they thought it would be nice to feed those students. So we're planning a program called Here for the Holidays.
I think it's great.
And we will write a grant for turkeys and trimming, and the senior center in Monmouth has told us that we can
use the kitchen.
Use the kitchen. Yes, yes.
Yeah, Sarah had that super idea last year and had talked to several people about it, and I just didn't see the fit for organizations I was in, but it's a perfect fit for Rotary International. Yeah, wonderful. And youth.
Yes, yes, always.
Great. You're going to have a terrific year. You're doing some
I
wonderful,
hope
innovative
so.
things.
And then someday I'm going to retire.
Yeah, right. Well, thank you very much
Thank
for
you,
coming
Susan.
on. We'll be right back. They were such fabulous guests, weren't they? I learned a little more about Rotary. I learned a little more about Lions and the Smith Fine Arts Series coming up this year. I'm really looking forward to some of these events. You can see our show on the YouTube Wimpeg channel, our local cable, and Polk Salad, A Bounty of Conversation, our Facebook page. Until next month, we'll see you around town. Thank you for joining